Join us for a performance review of the new Porsche Panamera Turbo S. Let's go. In the front, this recent Panamera facelift changed a little bit of this lower area for all models, so a little bit bolder from the design, and also the daytime running light and lower part has been modified a little bit. Here in the Turbo S you can see it has this double design here and it's also a little bit more stretched. The main headlamp unit here LED, different trims available there as well. 5 meters 05, 16 foot 6 or 199 inches is the length of the short wheelbase version of the Panamera, and there's also the executive version long wheelbase, which is then 15 centimeters or 6 inches longer, and for more legroom here in the rear. And there's also still the Sport Turismo, this so-called estate, which then continues right over a little bit more here. We also have a shot there for you, even available as a Turbo S, so in the different engine versions, just that the Sport Turismo is only available with all-wheel drive. And there's also, for example, the GTS available still, which has this more menacing look with dark wheels, for example. Here the Turbo S comes with everything they have. So 21-inch wheels, the biggest ones. There are also new designs here for the update in 20-inch and 21-inch. This also features directly the carbon ceramic brakes for even more non-fading performance, for example, on the racetrack. And indeed, you can take this car on the racetrack. It will be a blast, I can tell you. So keep on watching this review. In the rear, the light strip here now goes all the way from left to right, also aligning with the recent newer Porsche models. So this has been updated, also made more three-dimensional, more sculptural. So definitely fitting to the vehicle. The Turbo S also gets the foldable wing that also goes up to the side. So looks quite impressive, but I think it looks better when it's like this, just, more elegant integrated design. Engines, it's all about more horsepower in this facelift. It will start with the base engine 2.9 liter V6 bi-turbo, which will then also be the base for the new 4SE hybrid, then with 560 horsepower, so a horsepower upgrade for that as well. And then the V8 models, for example, the GTS will get the V8, and also this one here, the Turbo S, pure ICE 4 liter V8 bi-turbo engine. In this case then 630 horsepower now, 820 Newton meters of torque, and 3.1 seconds is the acceleration figure to 100 kilometers or 62 miles an hour. That's 0.3 seconds faster than the so far top model. But make no mistake, it's not that they cancelled their hybridization top hybrid strategy now. They will later also again be the Turbo SE hybrid once again. And so overall they will have 3 hybrids then in their total lineup. But definitely a lot of choices. Of course, no diesel anymore. Porsche abandoned these. And definitely still a focus on the hybrids, although we have here the strongest pure combustion engine for today. Driving mode selector here at the steering wheel, and the steering wheel has been reworked with the facelift. You can, for example, see now you have, like in the 911 or in the Taycan, these updated jog wheels. So they control then the digital instruments, and on the left side the same here then for the volume, and this is definitely easier to control. So I think it's a sleek design here also with this, real screw design. at the same time easy to control volume and also the instruments, and then also with the drive mode selector, which you can easily do while driving. Shifting pedals also, they are very crisp and nice to use. And soon we'll also give you more details about the instruments and the infotainment screen. First of all, the seats. For the Panamera, you get either a base seat, which is a little bit more open, or then you get a sport seat, which has this additional shoulder support right here. In the GTS, you can also get Alcantara on the middle part. That would be the only solution which contains less animal skin. So far, the Panamera lineup is not that good in this respect. I talked to the boss of the model line, and he said he is also realizing more and more demand for animal-free solutions, so they are looking into that, but did not implement that in the face of it. So far, GTS model for Alcantara, or then you have to go for the Taycan for totally animal-free interior. However, comfort-wise, for the seat form, this is also what this car is about, that you have, for example, way more comfort than in a 911, for example. And the seat form itself, you sit low, so it reminds you of sports vehicles, yes, yet at the same time you have more space. And here the steering wheel can be moved up and down and in and out electric way, and you can find a very nice seating position even if you're quite tall, 1.86 or 6'1". And this is here, plenty of headroom, and look at that. I mean, this bright Alcantara ceiling, wow. This is really amazing. Although we don't have the panoramic roof here, which would be an option, this brings so much light in the interior. It looks cozy, like a living room atmosphere, looks premium. And look at that, even here the handles, you know, the inside handles are covered with Alcantara and having like a strengthening in the middle. So then they're also dampened from the inside, you know, and of course this is also dampened when they go back. So this would be something for when you drive a little bit racier here as a driver, which is totally possible with that car. You should check it out in the racetrack part. Then as a co-driver or passenger, we always say co-driver here, we use the rally speech intentionally. Then it really feels good to grab that handle and hold tight. Now the interior overview, and as we know from Porsche with the horizontal stress, definitely right here and here, very clean design. Also, and with the analog clock there in the top part, there's also a new design for that available right now. Here then the microfiber steering wheel, you should definitely get that, as I said, really nice grip, and it's really a clean design. However, you still have all the controls you might possibly need. Soon more details to these instruments, which are digital on the side and analog one in the middle part. And on the right side we have the widescreen format here. The software has been updated, also the map data and so on. So slight updates here with the facelift for that. Soon we'll also go in detail what you can do with that. Then in the lower part you don't have, you know, too many physical buttons. You do have still some left, like a control knob right here. For example, you can zoom in and out with that in the map. That's possible. The volume here, for example, is then in this case not controlled with that, but with another jog here below that. Not sure if you can see it at the moment on camera. But here then this nice metal knurling also for the AC unit. Good to control it while driving, for example. And everything else is, yeah, touch sensitive, capacitive buttons. It looks cool as soon as it's clean. But then of course collect some fingerprints here, for example, for suspension setting. In the infotainment right here, it's actually quite responsive. Here at the Bilderberg racetrack for you here today. Good visualization. Main menu looks like this. You can also individualize that. My favorite menu is this always, the car menu. For example, when you put out the spoiler or put it in again for your friends. Then you can also see the visualization right there. And you see that the adaptive air suspension here, which is usually an option for the Panamera or comes automatically with the Turbo S. Also everything adjusts according to the driving modes. In the sports mode, for example, it goes down automatically and so on. And the climate unit can also be controlled here. For example, like where the vents are coming from. That you have to do in the menu right here. Now a detailed look at the instruments. Once again, pretty cool. They have the analog RPM meter right there, and then left and right are screens. And on the right side you can change it up like this. Here also with the GPS map, for example. It will also appear when you just approach the next intersection, for example. That's a cool function. And here the all-wheel drive distribution, of course a rear-wheel biased all-wheel drive. And then you can just take a look at that while driving. The more you hammer it, the more power it will also give to the front wheels. And here at the steering wheel you can also then switch over to the left gauge, and then also have, for example, GPS input right there, or assistance systems information and so on. And I think, yeah, that's actually easy and straightforward. Now to the rear seating area, of course the same design as in the front, and even memory seating here for the rear seats is of course an option, and with the electric seats for the rear you can see the controls there in the lower part. And in the sedan here of the Panamera, it would start with single seats. An option, you can pick the through bench if you want to have a third seating in the rear, and the Sport Turismo, the Estate, would start with a through bench, and there you can optionally go for the single seat setup. This looks more executive-like. You have these special controls and also digital controls for the climate unit. This of course looks really fancy. Yeah, of course it's not necessary, but what is necessary with the Porsche? Here it's not about what is necessary, but what is cool. So let's get inside here. And it's a long vehicle, and therefore we also have enough legroom here also when I have the seat as I would be driving. But of course it's clear that a car in this segment is not really like good packaging wise if you look at exterior-interior relation. And you fall a little bit backwards here with the bench, so you do have enough space here. Also electric control here of the length of the seat, for example, and also the back part of the seat then with the electric control, for example, also electric lumbar support. I mean, you get along definitely, and it is in one way luxurious. Here headroom wise it still works, so you don't need a Sport Turismo for more headroom here. But I would not say it's the most comfortable position here in the rear. So for more comfort, I would definitely, for example, prefer a Cayenne in the rear. Even a Macan is definitely more comfortable here in the rear. Boot capacity is in both cases around 500 liters or 18 cubic feet, both sedan and Sport Turismo. They don't differ that much because it is measured here below the cover. The Sport Turismo has a little bit more height right here. And here in the sedan also you have this high loading sill right there. That's not that practical. However, so you can still very well use the trunk here, a little bit wider in the sides. Underneath here some of the sound equipment, and there's this, split. You can put this one down, just the middle ski hatch, and the other sides you have a 1/3, 2/3, or also 1/1/1, depending on what you like. And let's put a cabin trolley inside. You can see the dimensions here in a more practical way, and it also fits here in a vertical way, but not all the way up till the end. So you have to push it a little bit further in. So here, for example, even like this, probably then it will not close, just as a very practical test. Or let's see, that might still work, will it? No, will not.